Sonlin and Herwig Konings are founding partners of Security Token Group. All opinions expressed by them or guests on this podcast are solely their opinions and do not represent the views of Security Token Group or its subsidiaries. You should not take any opinion expressed on the show as a specific inducement to make a particular investment or follow any investment strategy. This podcast is for informational purposes only.
Hello and Happy New Year. Welcome back to the Security Token Show. It's our first episode of the year. I'm your host, Herwig Konings, and of course, joined by my co-host, Kyle Sonlin. We're here in sunny Miami, Florida, and we're ready to bring you the latest security token news, the industry updates, the newest security token offerings, and of course, the trading market updates. And this week's main topic is, of course, predictions for 2022. This is where we get to find out and make some hot takes and see if we're going to be hilariously right or wrong at the end of the year. But before we get started with the show, we of course have to thank our sponsor for making this show possible. And this week, it's actually our sister company, Security Token Advisors. You actually may not have heard of Security Token Advisors. It's actually where we started, and it's essentially an advisory firm helping people understand how to apply this technology. How do you tokenize an asset? How do you crowdfund for it? How do you list it on a marketplace? Everything in between. We're here to help you find the right vendors, the right structure, and make sure you can do a successful STO. So if you need help on the tokenization front, definitely check out Security Token Advisors.
Joined dozens of other clients over the past few years in understanding how blockchain technology can transform the markets. And with that, thank you so much for Security Token Advisors. It's time to move into our top 5. These are our top 5 headlines, the things that you cannot miss. You need to know, starting with number 1. This is the INX acquisition of TokenSoft's transfer agent. Now, TokenSoft is an issuance platform in the security token space. They've issued our coin. They did INX's tokenization as well. And they have a transfer agent license. This is an important piece of the puzzle that essentially manages the movement of the shares. When one person like Herwig sells his shares to me, then you would need a transfer agent that essentially updates that on the back end so that everybody's on the same page, right? INX has now acquired TokenSoft's transfer agent license, allowing them to do these services alongside their ATS or their trading platform where you can get that liquidity. Seems like it makes a lot of sense for INX, and it'll be very interesting to see where TokenSoft begins to pivot now that they've kind of shelled this piece of it over to INX.
That's right. TokenSoft is a tokenization company. They have a transfer agent as part of that they've now sold off, but it's not TokenSoft, the company itself. In fact, they have a stronger relationship than ever with INX, obviously. And as a result, INX says they're going to be offering new business lines. They're excited for a lot more primary offerings, secondary listings, and a whole lot more coming to their marketplace. So that's very, very exciting stuff. Number 2, we've got Elk Capital, which you may not have heard of, but they actually own a well-known club. We're talking about the Burnley Football Club, a Premier League club. For those of you who may not have heard of that name, maybe it gives you some context that they have over 600,000 Twitter followers. They're a big football club, and they have signed an LOI, a letter of intent, with INX, actually to tokenize the club revenues, which is extremely exciting. They plan to have this trading 24/7 year-round, and now for the first time ever, gives people access and exposure to a Premier League football club. That's pretty cool, Kyle.
I am a huge sports fan. I love the business behind sports clubs, and seeing a Premier League soccer team in England getting tokenized, their revenue, they did, by my calculations, potentially more than $175 million in revenue last year alone. So, there's going to be some interesting revenue. This is a revenue generating company. I believe they broke even last year, even despite the pandemic and its effects on sports. So this is a healthily run business that potentially is going to be a very, very interesting asset from an investment structuring perspective, as well as the fact that you're owning a soccer team. And moving into number 3, we've got Robinhood. Robinhood made headway in 2021 as they offered a lot of investment into the cryptocurrency space, specifically with Bitcoin, Ether, Dogecoin represented famously in that first quarter, like 20 or 30% of the company's trading volume for crypto. And so they drew some criticisms, though, because while they were offering investment exposure into crypto, they really weren't embracing the decentralized nature of cryptocurrency and had no wallet functionality. You couldn't remove your Bitcoin from Robinhood or send some into Robinhood. You had to directly engage with the platform. Right. Now they're flipping that on its head. They're launching a beta in January 2022 to their 1.6 million users. who are now going to be able to test wallet functionalities, which involves sending and receiving crypto through Robinhood. This is another interesting development as more and more companies seem to be embracing the crypto infrastructure that's been pioneered for many years from the industry.
It's a big step, as you said, going from a closed ecosystem where you just traded via the app to now actually offering custody services. Robinhood is now no longer just a broker-dealer. They are full-on getting into the crypto game, and they're going to be focused on education and security as a part of that rollout. So super cool stuff. Number 4, we've got a Ripple update for you. For those of you who have been following the show, they know that Ripple has a big impact on the possible crypto legislation. This is one of the biggest offerings, ICOs back in the day, that now could be labeled as a security and therefore could have precedent on the results of other ICOs and such. And now it turns out that a transcript of the August 21 hearing in 2021 was released, which actually might indicate that they are now going to be having a motion ruling on this court case, because why else would you release this to the public? And for those of you who don't know about the Ripple case, basically the latest update from this clip is that the judge wasn't cozying really up to the SEC's defense regarding Ripple's argument that because the SEC wasn't aware of how Ripple was going to be treated in the first place, they can't really go back and say that Ripple was a security now that they think it is. So very interesting update, and maybe we will soon see a massive ruling from this Ripple court case, which has been going on for several years now.
This has certainly been the story of the show over the past year, as we've covered every step of the way, and you better believe you'll get the updates here. Moving into number 5, our final article of our top 5 segment, we have Dig Owl. This is Dignity Gold. This is a company that owns gold mines. They've got gold reserves. They have a fund that invests in gold infrastructure, and they are now issuing a security token for the whole enchilada. You can now get direct exposure both into the gold itself as well as the manufacturing process of attaining these resources. They also have some other natural resources that they are also cultivating in their own products, I believe. So this is going to be the 5th token listing on CryptoSX. We've seen CryptoSX coming out for European and Asian investors specifically. We saw the Whiskey Fund is now listed there, First Shot Centers, and others are also listed now on CryptoSX, which is quickly rising to be a player in the security token space, specifically for the APAC region. This is fantastic news for both Dig Owl as well as CryptoSX. Great work, everyone.
And for the industry, that's more tokens coming to a trading venue near you. Congratulations, CryptoSX, and super cool to now get exposure to the gold asset class via a security token. So that's the top 5 things that you need to know. Now let's get over to John Pittman, who's going to be covering the industry news for the first time on the show. I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks for getting the show on the road, boys. I hope all my tokenizers enjoyed their holiday and are ready for an especially fruitful 2022. But it feels good to be back on this side of the blockchain. And if you haven't heard or seen me before, my name is John Pittman, also known as a token advisor across many platforms. But today, I'm here with some of the most important updates that you need to know right now. Right here, we grab news from across the industry and we put it in one place to make your life less hard than it already is. I would say this is the type of news that will have ripple effects down the road. As a matter of fact, speaking of Ripple, we have a couple of stories coming out of the SEC. So the SEC made noise right before New Year's with an announcement that Gary Gensler will be adding a guy by the name of Corey Frayer to his executive staff as a senior advisor on the agency's oversight of crypto. Now, Frayer has worked as a professional staff member of both the Senate Banking Committee as well as being the senior policy advisor for the House of Financial Services Committee. Within the blockchain community, we're for sure hoping that this appointment positively affects Gensler's public position on crypto-related policy changes. What I mean by that is that the SEC chair has vocally expressed concerns about exchange-traded funds, otherwise known as ETFs, who offer exposure to cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin. He really wants crypto projects to register with the SEC, citing that they should come in and work with regulators. I mean, we advocate transparency on the blockchain, not project suicide. Which brings me to my next piece of news out of the SEC. Continuing with Gensler's position on ETFs, it appears that they have postponed the decision to approve NYDIG spot ETF for Bitcoin, apparently delayed until March 16th. However, there's some opposition to Gary Gensler's position. SEC Commissioner Hester Pierce has become a popular voice for crypto and is also a vocal proponent of spot ETFs and is just as curious as the public as to why it's taking so long to get one approved. She's of the mindset that the SEC continues to issue denials using a type of reasoning that is completely outdated. Right now, investors can only gain exposure to Bitcoin through Valkyrie's latest ETF offering or through ProShares Bitcoin Futures Contract Fund. Of course, investors want direct access to the asset. Across the border, Fidelity Canada has already launched a Bitcoin ETF and a mutual fund back in December. Also happening in Canada is a showdown between Binance and the OSC, also known as the Ontario Securities Commission. So the OSC told Binance earlier in 2021 that they were not complying with regulations. So Binance, in turn, told users it was pulling out of Canada's most populous province and that they were closing all accounts by December 31st. But that wasn't the end of it for Binance. Recently, Binance went above the OSC and went to Canada's country financial regulator called Fintech, which stands for Financial Transactions and Reports Analysis Center of Canada. These acronyms are getting out of hand, honestly. So Binance applied for a money transmitter license that they believe put them back on the regulatory path, which led to them sending out an email on the 29th to their users stating that they, in fact, would not be closing down. Last minute shot like that, it's a buzzer beater. Needless to say, the OSC did not like this. They responded in a statement and said Binance has issued a notice to users without any notification to the OSC. This is unacceptable. OSC went on to further say that Binance is not authorized to offer trading in derivatives or securities to persons or companies within its province. Unregistered platforms operating in Ontario may be subject to action, including temporary orders. This is done simply to ensure compliance or face the wrath, which could affect local business operations. Turns out Canadians aren't so nice at all when it comes to money. Ever had to transfer money overseas? Well, a key player in those transactions is a company called SWIFT. SWIFT stands for Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunications. You gotta love acronyms. So SWIFT is a vast messaging network used by banks and other financial institutions to send and receive information. Money transfers are a prime example. More than 11,000 SWIFT member institutions sent over 35 million transactions per day through the network in the year 2020. That's just to offer you some scale. Banks, brokerages, asset management companies, clearinghouses, and exchanges all use SWIFT. Now, SWIFT is making major moves with plans to explore how it can support the security token market. The organization aims to support the issuance, delivery versus payment, and the redemption processes. They hope these experiments will just demonstrate their continued involvement in the frictionless and seamless tokenized digital asset market. Following the example of the crypto world, banks and security firms are offering services where fractional assets are sold as security tokens to allow for greater liquidity and accessibility. Sometimes I wonder if this is a kill or be killed situation because I imagine SWIFT, along with other traditional institutions, are worried that their usefulness could decline because of the growing use of digital assets of all types. And finally, let's talk about DAOs. So, in the wake of the Constitution DAO, an event where crypto enthusiasts pulled their Ethereum together via the blockchain to buy the American Constitution at an ARC auction, spoiler alert, they lost the bid, but were able to raise $40 million, proving that the power of the people is real. But from that event have arisen similar projects. One of those projects is the Links DAO. Once again, crypto enthusiasts have come together, but this time it's to buy a golf course. The way this particular process worked is the Links DAO organization launched an NFT sale in which, on its debut, they sold 9,000 of individual NFTs with 2 different membership classes. Impressively enough, Links DAO was able to raise $10.5 million in the sale. Unfortunately, that isn't enough to buy a golf course, but it is enough to get the operations for this plan off the ground. But did I mention they want this golf course in New York or Miami? In addition to the NFT sales, Links DAO says it will launch a Links governance token soon, not to be confused with Chainlink. So just a little background, and to keep it brief, basically governance tokens give the important decision-making power back to the people who are all a part of this money pool. And it's done via the blockchain. I'll actually go a little bit more into detail on DAOs in my weekly blog, The Blog Journal, that comes out this Thursday. In Links DAO case, the governance token holders are going to decide the location of the course. They're going to vote on proposals related to the project or simply be able to resell their tokens to the open market. You definitely notice some inspiration from Gary Vee's Flyfish model on this. What I mean by this is that the Links DAO NFT holders will be entitled to membership perks along with the governance tokens. But now the token advisor me kicks in. There is going to have to be some clever accounting. As of now, DAOs so far are not allowed to hold traditional assets such as real estate or corporations for compliance reasons, obviously. The group is currently in talks with legal experts to create a separate operating entity called Links DAO Incorporated. This entity will own the physical asset as well as serve as a day-to-day operating company for the prospective golf course. FYI, currently in Wyoming, you can set up a DAO as a legal entity, so I'm curious if that's what they're thinking. If everything plays out favorably and legally, Links DAO will give DAO members first dibs to purchase into this operating company. This essentially means that some NFT purchasers could potentially receive equity ownership of a physical golf course and receive cash flows from this operation. I believe this is the type of project that could benefit for some security token integration down the line. I, for sure, am looking forward to seeing this play out, as I am also looking forward to Megan here with our weekly security token offering updates. That's it for me, and I will catch you tokenizers next week on the other side of the blockchain.
First up, we have a hemp company using tokens to crowdfund a lawsuit. Apotheo is an agricultural research institution focused on the commercialization of hemp. The hemp grower has raised $330,000 for a lawsuit against Kern County, California, via what's known as an initial litigation offer on the Republic investment platform. An ILO was recently launched on the Avalanche blockchain. This is in essence a token that provides investors with a percentage of payouts from various funded lawsuits. This is a very interesting way of raising capital. The alleged wrongdoing of the wrongful destruction of hemp crops is said to be worth between $500 to $1 billion at the time of destruction. Now that's a lot of damage. Next, we have a $100 million token offering from Altera Worldwide. They're a Dallas-based service company with over 20 years of experience and expertise in ownership and all aspects of development, construction, and commercial real estate. They have launched one of the world's leading real estate tokenization projects for a new multifamily high-rise tower in downtown San Jose called T27 Silicon. This is in the heart of Silicon Valley, and it's the only piece of tokenized real estate in California for now. 100 million T27 Silicon security tokens are available, each equal to $1, and they're available globally via their website. Next, it seems non-fungible tokens have created a new fad for campaign fundraising. Many political candidates at all levels have jumped on the latest digital bandwagon by offering these non-fungible tokens, or NFTs, as part of their campaign fundraising. These politicians are promising exclusivity to their donors, adding a layer of value we have not previously seen. What do you think of this? I'm personally skeptical to use NFTs to fundraise, but we're excited to see the adaptation and new use cases across various audiences. Finally, we have news from ABC Fintech. They're the company fractionalizing commercial real estate with blockchain technology to create liquidity. Now that's pretty awesome. ABC Fintech is launching a crowdfunding campaign on WeFunder in a testing the waters equity raise. For as little as $100, you can buy a piece of ABC. Some of the highlights of their company are that they are the first tokenized real estate portfolio with ABC token. They have over $3 million of commercial real estate closed and $50 million in the pipeline. They are a team of seasoned professionals with a combined 300 years and counting years of experience in CRE. I'm super excited to kick off the new year with some heavy hitters in the token space. It's all up from here. Now we're going over to our analyst, Sam Sachs, who is going to give you the latest trading market report.
For those who don't know me, I am Sam Sachs, and I am super excited to be your host of the Market Updates segment of the Security Token Show. The end of December proved to be rather bearish for security tokens, as we saw the market cap drop below $1 billion and is now sitting at roughly $872 million. You might be asking yourself, what's the reason for the drop? I'm not one to place the blame on anybody in particular, but Overstock Security Token is a main culprit. Their market cap dropped by nearly half in only 1 month, as it is seen that their market cap is now below INX as the most valuable trading security token. It's the first time it's happened in years. Because we're still so early in this market, individual names can drastically affect the overall market cap. It has to do with inefficiencies that will be knocked out in the future. That's why all the innovation happening in the industry is helping to build a much more stable ecosystem. And speaking of innovation, INX, a pioneer in the industry and the owner of the digital ATS platform, has announced very big news. After a takeover of Valdi Investments, which is a Canada-based capital pool company, they have received conditional approval for the listing of the common shares on the NEO exchange. So what happens now? In connection with the transaction, INX will become a wholly owned subsidiary of Valdi, and Valdi will continue the business of INX. Upon completion of the transaction, Valdi will change its name to INX Digital Company, INC. the same as INX is right now, and they will essentially be one. This is expected to be completed on Monday, January 10th, 2022, which is just in a couple days. And in other news, Dignity Corp, a US-based digital security that is structured by backing a security token with gold reserves, announced that their native DGAO token will be listed this coming Tuesday on the new exchange CryptoSX. So who are these guys? Dignity Corp is a blockchain development company that relies on security tokens to unlock new ways of investing in the United States precious metals, mining, and mineral sector. The DGAO token offers a path for investors to benefit from opportunities in the United States precious metals, mining, and mineral sector. The value derives from the way it combines its gold reserves backing as well as the actual mining of the metals and creation of a complementary investment fund in which token holders can benefit via a profit-sharing model. And this is Sam Sachs signing off with this week's market update. I'll see you soon.
Wakey wakey, welcome to Inside the Metaverse with your host, Yves Van Col. We go over the top breaking news relating to the Metaverse weekly. All I gotta say is Happy New Year. It's 2022. How has time flown by? Feels like it was yesterday I was in the beginning of the pandemic and I was trying to buy Boeing stock trying to flip it. But maybe in 2022, I'm going to be hopping on a Boeing jet inside the Metaverse because that is where Boeing will be building its next airplane, calling it the factory of the future, where engineers around the world will be able to communicate and design using HoloLenses. Next up, every now and then you hear about a new fund raising a couple million to accelerate their Metaverse projects, while Facebook just dropped $60 million for a name. Yes, you heard that right, a name. Facebook is so serious about the Metaverse, it paid a South Dakota bank $60 million for the name Meta. Next up, Decentralized once again is setting up the standard for what a Metaverse should be, announcing they have royalties for creators. The feature is dropping soon. Instagram is actively exploring NFTs, which is short for letting me throw it out there to the public and see what everyone else thinks. As you know, Instagram is a subsidiary of Meta, and this might be a little light shining on what Meta has in store for Horizon Worlds. And what a time to be alive. We have Samsung opening up a virtual store in Decentralized Metaverse. It is one of the largest brand land takeovers in Decentraland history. Samsung will allow fans to complete quests that will allow them to win rewards. And ending things with my prediction for 2022. And what I can say is get ready for DAOs. They are going to be parabolic with major headlines and mainstream attention. That was Inside the Metaverse with your host, Yves Van Col.
All right, for the main topic for Security Token Show, episode 122, we are joined with the entire cast of the Security Token Show, and we have an amazing topic here to cover, which is our predictions moving forward into 2022. Herwig, this is going to be a great episode, but we've got something pretty big to talk about right before that.
We sure do, Kyle. This is the second time now that we get the honor of choosing a company of the year. This is the company that made the biggest moves in the industry, the one that made the progress and they were the loudest and maybe the most pioneering in many different ways. And it's always tough because we actually have to choose from over 100 different candidates sometimes from the Company of the Week winners of last year's show. And Kyle and I, we had a tough decision to make here, huh? There were a lot of good candidates.
Yeah, we had some really interesting candidates. You know, we had Exodus, which pioneered the Reg A Plus offering that's now expanded to 75 million, now listed on T0, who has pioneered, and they actually won our Company of the Year last year. There were some other really notable winners. I know that caught your eye as well, right?
For sure. I mean, there's the obvious, Securitize. Not only are we using them for our very own crowdfund offering, but they also launched their own ATS, and they've launched their own fund products, and they have raised money from the likes of Morgan Stanley and many other institutional investors. They certainly were very close in the runner-up category.
But I think there was one that stood out amongst the rest, and that was INX.
INX, folks. Company of the Year.
INX has really pioneered every step of the way. They did a SEC-regulated fully, public security token offering, raising $85-90 million for a security token offering, now trading on public markets up 2x since its listing on their own acquired ETFs from Open Finance.
Right, that's a big deal. And their parent company at the same time last year went ahead and listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange, a public exchange globally, which is a big deal, making it very legitimate as a company. And we also saw that they listed and have a bunch of cool LOIs for a ton of awesome tokens, including the Brandley Football Club, which is a Premier League soccer team, which is very, very cool.
So amazing work from the team at INX and everyone else in the industry. The space has grown tremendously, and so we're so proud of everybody, as this space has been a long time coming, and some amazing hard work from everyone around the world is a lot to be commended.
So congratulations, INX. Maybe we'll do a little follow-up with you guys in the future. But now we've got our predictions for 2022. This year, we're going to have everybody on the show here go ahead and give us a hot take for what they think is going to happen this year in the security token industry. That's 6 hot takes. And on top of that, as a little bonus, we'll all tell you what we think the market cap, the secondary trading market of security tokens, will land at the end of the year. So with that, I think maybe we can kick it off here with John on the right. You're one of the senior hosts on the show now. What do you got?
Thank you. Well, Security Token Show, we like to watch STOs. 2018, we had 28. 2019, we had 55. 2020, we had 380. I think this year, we get 1,000 security token offerings, which means a lot of work to make
There
it.
you go.
So I'm excited about that.
You got a lot
That's my hot
of
take.
media. A lot of media coming your
That would
way.
be wild.
What are you thinking, Nick?
So I personally think, NFTs had their moment in 2021, and that's all amazing things from an adaptation standpoint and spreading awareness in the industry for, beyond just the typical cryptocurrencies. But I think security tokens are going to have their moment in 2022. My kind of hot take is that I think that NFTs are holding back the adaptation of security tokens. Especially we've seen a lot of people try and do fundraising through NFT, based proposals. And I think that once people understand that there's a better opportunity out there, it's going to take over the world. And maybe we can hit John's prediction in the process.
It's the only way.
Yeah, and so, I mean, did we talk market cap?
Oh,
Yeah.
market caps, John. What do you
Market
think of
caps.
market cap wise?
Well, we gotta do market cap, man. I'm not a fortune teller. I know we have a lot of securities locked up in the primary issuance pipeline. Across $1 billion last year. I'm thinking we're gonna be, triple digit billion. I'm gonna go with that.
Ooh, wow. That's a hot take. I love it.
Triple digit.
I just made that up, yeah.
I'm gonna go Price is Right style, 1.1 trillion.
Ooh.
Wow.
I took the over.
That would be dope.
1.1 trillion. For the second
That's a hot take. We love it. Hot takes on
My seat is on fire. I saw you off this thing for so long.
Going over to Eve. I want your hot take. I want your market caps.
Hey, so for a hot take, I think we all know Securitize is kind of making their way. They're doing their due diligence and stuff like that. I see Securitize making a major footprint in the industry as towards becoming like the next Coinbase, the Coinbase for the security token industry.
Interesting.
I see that they're well positioned for that, and market cap wise, I see us hitting 20 billion this year.
20 billion.
Yeah.
Going along with the team, as you know, team is what makes companies successful. I think one of the strongest teams in the industry is Exodus. I think Exodus, with their buyback program and with over 100 million users now and only increasing, an unbelievable platform, they are going to break above their all-time highs. There's going to be buy pressure that we haven't seen before. They will become the most valuable security token in the entire industry.
Wow.
And it's going to help catapult the industry to over $5 billion by the end of 2022.
Ooh, interesting.
That's a reasonable number.
All right. Well, I mean, You guys are bold. I love these hot takes, Kyle.
Hot takes only.
Very
I've had a few of them that sometimes they go right. You feel like an all-star, and
Well,
you don't have to be 100%.
you don't always have to be right. But I think mine is going to be right. I feel mine is a little bit safer than some of these hot takes, in fact. I think that there's going to be a STO worth well over $1 billion, maybe in the multi-billion-dollar range, and it's going to raise at least $250 million or more, which is roughly double what we've seen as historical records for the security token space. So I think it kind of shows that we've got huge growth in the space, and then we've got major mature companies ready to adopt. And then when it comes to the market cap, I tend to be a little bit more conservative. It's less my world, but I'm coming in with a cool 12 billion.
12 billion. So my hot take is actually on the same page as Megan's, in the idea that I think we don't have a full number on this market cap right now in terms of the NFT market cap. But I believe that we are A, going to get that data in hopefully the next couple of months so we can actually quantify this. But B, I think that the NFT market cap will be surpassed by the security token market cap in 2022. So I see that by the end of 2022, security tokens will be a larger industry by market cap than the NFT space is. And so that's kind of my hot take.
Flipping.
And the flipping will happen, and it's only the first step. I think it will be exponential in the years to come. And honestly, you guys are all over my number. I was kind of I look at it with multiples. We grew from 58 million to 380 million or so to start 2020. So going from 2020 to 2021, we hit an all-time high of like 1.1, which was maybe a 4x or so from the year before. And we were a 6 or I guess 7x from the year before. So I'll go 5x from where we are today, which if we go the 1.2 number, just to give me a little difference from Sam, I'm going to go 6 billion is my end of year market cap for 2022. And that's it. That's our hot takes.
Those are our predictions, folks. What do you think? 6 hot takes. Hopefully, you don't do anything crazy with them. And hopefully you enjoyed today's show. You enjoyed our new faces. Congratulations, Sam and Megan, for making it onto the team here. I think hopefully everyone enjoyed your segments. And of course, we love your feedback. All of us were on Twitter. Engage with us, ask us questions, and of course, subscribe and catch us next week on Monday for episode 123.